Hi, it's Dave Diegelman with Equity Real Estate here for the October 2025 market report for real estate in southern Utah. And let's do the numbers. Well, if we take a look at our numbers this month, this is kind of a critical turning point every single year because October is going to mark the end of what we call our quote-unquote selling season, which really has no bearing on anything, but the market typically does slow down in November, December, and January, and then pick up again in February a bit. So the September, October numbers are really critical to kind of take a look at to get an idea of what might be happening next year. But let's take a look at number one, the number of sold listings. So sold listings closing out September was 391, whereas last year it was up at 431 at the end of October. So we'll take a look at that and what the ramifications of that are. If we look at what the active listings are in comparison with that, you can still see it's like really large. In fact, we surpassed 2,400 on our active listings about 3 weeks ago. And that's huge. Inventory buildup has been growing steadily. So last year at the end of October, we were at 2,094. If we look at the listing prices, and again, this is just the median listing price, 479,900 was the close of September, and last year at the close of October, it was 493,975. So this is not comparing like neighborhoods or like homes or anything like that. It's just the median price across the board. So the active median price list that's coming on the market is 589,000 versus last year it was 599,000 and some change. So absorption rate in months, this again is how many months worth of inventory we have versus how many units of sales we have each month. Right now we are sitting at 5.69 months worth of inventory, whereas last year, at the end of October, we were at 5.12. So that's a significant increase. Sold to list ratio. And in this month's newsletter, if you go to the web version, which the link is down below if you're on a device that will show the links in the description, we did a really interesting comparison of a couple different things and different marketplaces. And we did a sold to list ratio breakdown of one specific neighborhood. And it's an eye-opener because it indeed is showing that higher priced homes are selling and that we're still in a very healthy marketplace. But anyway, let's look at the sold to list ratio. While this looks like it's a complete nosedive, it's going from our current rate right now, which is 95%, and then up here is 96%. So it's not really that huge of a difference on this little nosebleed right here. Last year it was at 95.1%. So again, it's fallen about 1% over the past year. And that is simply just a definition of what a house actually sold at versus what it was last listed at. If we look at the days on the market, right now we're up at 84.2. That, as far as I know, that's an all-time high right now. Last year, at the end of October, we're at 61 days. So that's a drastic change. But again, on the market slice that I put in the newsletter, you will see that most of it's because of price reduction. Over 40% of it is because of price reduction. Someone put a house on too high on the market, and or there's always marketing, just it doesn't show well on the web, so the presentation of the marketing of the home just didn't cut it. If we look at the price volume, this is how many millions of dollars worth of inventory we have sold. At the close of September, 245,602 and some change. At the close of October of last year, it was 250,575,000 and some change. So we really aren't that much difference in our overall price volume, but there are some unit volumes that have fallen. So we're going to take a look at the numbers of categories of houses, and you can see the biggest increase we had was from 200 to 249,000. And that was at 14.9% increase this year over last year. but we don't have a ton of inventory in that range, so I don't pay much attention to that. And for the most part, these are going to be single wides and on real property in that price range. Not all of it. There's condos in there also. The next category that we have as a plus is the 500 to 750 range. And there we have an increase of 13.8%. And we have significant numbers. This is our highest number category of unit sales as well. The next category that we have that has an increase in unit sales is the 450 to 499 range. And that's at 5% increase this year over last year. Some of the other numbers fall below. The 350 to 400 range is down 6%. 4 to 449 is down 0.7%. 750 to $1 million is down 5.5%, and 1 to 2 million is down 4.2%. The $2 to $3 million mark is down almost 16%, but there's just not a whole lot of numbers in that category, so it doesn't necessarily reflect a trend that's going on in the market. So you can see the increases are fairly substantial. The decreases are fairly minimal from the year-over-year analysis. And again, as we go into our web newsletter for the month of October, which again, the link is below, we talk about several different things in there, and we have some really interesting links on the newsworthy items. So the first one is why let the builder take a construction loan. This is a great article, has to do with what's called subordination. And I've been doing this for over 22 years, 23 years now, and have always used builder subordination when I can. The marketplaces are different sometimes, and sometimes the builders are just too busy to do this. But if you're thinking about a new home or building your own home, this is a must read. The next one is NFIP. By the numbers, this is the economic ripple effects of a lapse, and this has to do with flood zones and how these insurance lapses are coming up in the U.S. And we've had so many huge insurance claims that obviously homeowners insurance has gone up incredibly high in the last year, and the effects that this could have on the economy of homeowners insurance. The two that I really want to point out are neighborhoods with the widest price range in the greater St. George area. We looked at 4 neighborhoods that have the biggest price range variable to them, and this has a lot of insight as to what goes on in neighborhoods where there's a lot of remodels going on, some new construction, but for the most part, it's going to show you a cross slice of what our overall marketplace is, but in very concentrated data. And this one had some really, really interesting insights. In fact, we took Bloomington Hills as one of the examples, and we did a market stat report on it. And it's an eye-opener to show you actually how strong our marketplace is in spite of kind of the sentiment that we have of being in a weak marketplace because of the inventory buildup that we have. So the other article that I think is really important to read, especially for buyers, but also for sellers, is why winter is the secret season for southern Utah home buyers. So this gives a lot of insight for both home buyers and sellers as to why the winter market is kind of special, because it does slow down and it presents different opportunity and obstacles for both. So I think you're going to really enjoy those articles in this month's newsletter. Well, that's a wrap for October 2025 Real Estate Market Report for Southern Utah. Again, my name is Dave Diegelman. If I can help you out with anything in your real estate needs, give me a call at 435-703-4041.